The CEO Diaries, powered by Harper Ellis Hair Co.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the CEO Diaries. I'm excited to do another solo podcast. These are actually kind of hard to do. I kind of sit here talking to the camera, or Kane, who's behind the camera. But they're needed because, of course, you guys know I have a lot to say. That's no surprise. But the number one thing is I feel like there's a lot of lessons to be taught. You guys know that if you come to my classes, you come to my in-person education, I have something to say about everything. But today we're going to talk about how I personally propel myself to the next level of business or grow, or you could say set goals. I get asked about all the time. People are always like, how do you keep going? How do you grow? Every time I look at your stuff, or every time I, check back in and look at, your page or your socials, it looks like you've started something different or something new, or you have a, next level of success. And I want to tell you guys, I feel like I haven't always had that specific subject figured out. It's actually taking me, I've been a business owner now for almost 7 years, and I feel like it's taken me almost this long to figure out what is the secret sauce on getting to that next level. And so this is going to be a short podcast. Hopefully this is something that you can listen to on your way to work, get you amped up on that Monday morning, whatever you do. However, I'm going to kind of take you through the turn of events that I do whenever I'm feeling like stuck or I'm not really sure what's next for me. The number one thing that I feel like I keep in the back of my mind, this has been something I've sort of trained my brain to do, is I always think about my weakest link. And so whether it's in my personal life or it's in my, any of my companies, whether it's like maybe employees, or sometimes it's in myself of what I'm doing wrong within my company. As a CEO, I feel like I have to sort of drive the train on what the next thing is and what the next level of success really means to us, because it's different for everybody. It just depends on what you've got going, or what your goals are. And so I feel like my number one focus all the time is the weakest link. I feel like sometimes as a business owner and as someone that has employees, or someone that just is expected to lead a team, you're always sort of those ones that are the most successful and the best, those key players within your company, those are usually the loudest people within your company, meaning those are the ones that always stay on the forefront of your brain because they may be just really, really good at your job. They're always coming to you with new ideas. They're always doing what's expected. So naturally, those are the people that you're gonna, think about when you're not thinking about anything. And so I've learned lately that, those weakest links unless you want your team to sort of separate, those weakest links have to sort of catch up with the rest of them. And so I feel like, every single month, every single month I sit down and I make a list of like what could improve in, my personal life, my professional life, and then within my employees. And so it's actually a list that I keep within my phone, and I'm always thinking about, who may not even be happy within their role, who may not be thriving within their role. I feel like that is number one when it comes to running a business or having employees. You may be hiring for a very specific role inside your company. Say they get hired, they come on, they start doing their job, and you may find out very, very quickly that they aren't thriving within what they're doing, or they may show you that might be better at other things other than what you've put them in, and that's okay. I feel like, as a business owner, sometimes it's a hard time to like pivot because we have a very certain path, in our brains every great once in a while. Some of us sort of have a hard time envisioning what that path is, but I feel like if you will just listen to your employees and listen to your team on where they thrive, that is how you're going to go to the next level every single time. So I want to give you guys a few examples so you know exactly what I'm talking about. I know within my own company, right now, we'll just use like my salon as an example. I feel like we have had systems from day one. So we opened almost 7 years ago now, opened the doors, and we had systems that worked 7 years ago. We had things that worked for us. I'm a very systematic person. I love a system for everything. That way the business can hopefully function when I'm not completely present. But things that worked 7 years ago aren't necessarily working now. And so just recently we actually, we had to switch softwares inside of our own salon. And that was a hard one to swallow because, especially with technology, a lot of us, especially creatives, are not like just bomb at technology. We can't just like take on something and know how to work it. Some people are like that. If you're like that, good for you. I'm not like that. And I know a lot of my teammates are not like that either. And so after probably 3 or 4 years of people, whether it's clients or just my employees complaining about this software of just like, this is not working, it's hard to work, it's not doing what we need it to do, I decided, all right, it's time. We're gonna wipe it, we're gonna switch softwares. There's so many inconveniences that come with doing that. I mean, data, that's the one thing that I like thrive off of data, especially when it comes to the business. I want to know the numbers. I want to be able to look back at the past. I want to look, from year to year. And sure, I can refer back to the old software and compare like that, but it's not that easy. And so a lot of times whenever you cancel those softwares, you have to download all of that data to be able to even keep it. It's just kind of a big mess. So sometimes you have to swallow that pill of going, okay, you have to lose maybe something as convenient as just data, clicking a button and checking the data from last year to compare it to this year, to start completely new so that something can work better and more efficiently. The software for months and months and months was on my list of the weakest link. And you guys know you have those things in the back of your brain. If you're like me, you'll have it physically on a list because I'm such a list person. But you'll put it on a list or you put it in the back of your brain and you're like, I've got to do that. I've got to fix that. I've got to make a change there. And so I feel like that is the key to that next level of success. I feel like a lot of people kind of, especially if it's something scary like the software, or maybe it's an employee that you need to let go. Sometimes those employees that are the weakest link, you need to let them go. Sometimes this is a hard one to swallow, especially if you're a business owner. Sometimes the weakest link is you, and sometimes there's things within your routine that's not working. That's one thing that I personally have struggled with, and I want to share this so you guys can know that I definitely know that I'm not perfect. But I know lately within the last few months, my schedule is completely off. Like, I don't even know what's happening. And we've moved into this brand new headquarters. I've taken more days behind the chair. I used to have like one day per month, a certain day per month that I was behind the chair, and then my rest of them was in the headquarters. That has changed because I've taken a few more days behind the chair per month. And so my schedule's just off. My kid is all of a sudden out for school in summer. That actually caught me off guard. I wasn't listening, I guess, last year when he started school, and they told me that they were going to close up for summer. So like a couple months ago, I found out that my kid's going to be out for summer. That completely took me off my rocker because I was like, oh my gosh, I have this 2-year-old now that I've got to, Kane's shaking his head because he knows what it's like. We had this conversation the other day. The kids are especially something that'll take you completely off your schedule. And so lately I've realized and know that the weakest link right now in some of even the way that my company functions is me. And it's actually the fact that my schedule is not 100%. And so I just want to encourage you guys, no matter what it is, whether it's an employee that you need to get rid of, or whether it's, by the way, I don't have anybody in my company that I need to get rid of, in case you're watching. But sometimes it is that. So, whether it's an employee that you need to get rid of, or whether it's a system that you need to change, or whether it's, your marketing or something that you need to focus on, that's what you need to go and do, because there's no way that you can climb to that next level without bringing everything with you. And so I love to compare business to sort of a marriage. You guys know if you're inside of a marriage, and I have actually been married before my current marriage, and what completely went wrong inside of that marriage is I grew and the other person didn't. And so we grew apart. We didn't grow together. And so I compare that a lot within my businesses. If not everyone grows together, there's going to be a problem. And so no matter what department it is, no matter, everyone has different jobs, everyone kind of has to grow at the same pace. The minute that I feel like I've gotten something to 100%, I'll go back to the weakest link and I'll catch it up. And so I wanted to share that because I think I get asked this question a lot. Just in the last few months, I've been able to sort of bring it full circle of what my routine is there. But I want you to think about the weakest link inside your business and maybe make a list, whether it's in your phone, especially if it's like certain people, maybe not leave the list out on your desk so everybody can read it. But make an actual list of like, what is the weakest link inside my companies? And how can I fix them? How can I make them better, change them, maybe even get rid of them? And I'm talking systems, all the things. Just kind of evaluate that. If you've got a weakest link, you need to fix it. Thanks for watching.